Peace. How you doing? Please introduce yourself for those who do not know you or know you.
Wow, my name is Derek Crumpley, formerly known or now known as Deskee, from New York originally, um, and just a love of music, just a love of dance as well. Because if you love music, you definitely love dance.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I want to drop a little bit of your bio out there so people know why you're on here. On we're talking right now. You had a joint out, "Let There Be House," which
Yeah.
hit Billboard Hot Dance Club Play #1 single. So you had a
Wow.
#1 single in April 21st. I mean, yeah, 21st, 1990. Week 1 week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a big accomplishment, man, right there. You also had Dance Dance on Billboard Hot Dance Club Play #1 single September 29th, 1990 and October 6th and 1990 for 2 weeks.
Right.
So you charted on the Billboard. So that
Right.
and #1 twice.
Right.
So
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so this is
Interesting.
the reason. So people, so like, okay, well, who's going on?
Right.
And the whole thing about it, we got to let there be house, but people, there's a generation that don't know, or it skips real fast. What was it about? Hip house.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Chicago born. Um, and it was just interesting coming out of Frankfurt as well. And a lot of people don't know that Germany, France, England has always had a strong bond. You look at Giorgio Moroder, Munich Machine, Frank Farian, Bonnie M, things like that. They've always had a strong connection with the U.S. Quiet as it kept, we used to call Frankfurt Manhattan. You know, that's the link that we had. So, but
Okay.
basically, taking it back, as you said, it was about hip house. It was definitely about house in general.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I did a welcome addition to what was going on already to the culture. So definitely a welcome
an
addition.
additional genre,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
you put it. Yeah,
and it
yeah.
was
It
definitely
was,
welcome.
yeah, it was definitely a nice mix. If you watched how music transitioned from band and then it went from band into digital and hip hop sampling, things of that nature. And me and my man Tyree Cooper out of Chicago, also the Prince of Hip House, we were talking about how hip house basically was like a mixture of dance and hip hop.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And it was interesting that you can see the inner city youth connecting with hip house. It was
yeah,
almost like electric, like Planet Rock and stuff like that.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Yeah. So
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And you were doing that over here in Frankfurt, man. You released
right,
this album over in
right,
Frankfurt, Germany.
right. But check this out. What's interesting, Akim Shapansky, Blackout Records, I got to give him props. Boy Records on Bronnerstrasse. That's where it all started. And once my mother left, I was staying with my mother on the base. Once she left, I was living down in the city. So around the corner was a record shop. And what was interesting is he would bring he's really responsible for bringing house to Germany,
Right.
Boy Records. So, walked in the
Oh,
shop
Boy
like,
Records. Boy Records.
yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember Boy
yeah,
Records. I remember
yeah.
Boy Records.
You know what? Let me back up. Let me back up. The first house record I bought, Tala Records, Tala, in Frankfurt's Bahnhof. There
Hmm.
was a record shop, and his name was Tala. And that's the first time I bought a house track was down that way. But really, Akim Shapansky, what he did was let the youth, as far as us, he put out a paper bag record label and just allowed us to express music. Hip house. This is it right here. Walk in the Bronnerstrasse, they playing Fast Eddie, Yo Yo Get Funky.
Hmm.
Yo, my mouth dropped when I came up in that joint. My mouth dropped. It's time to get funky to this cut so scream and throw your hands up. You like, whoa, wait a minute. It ain't Planet Rock.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
house. You like, whoa. And they basically asked me, could I do that? Because I was just basically DJing at the time. They didn't know I could rap as well.
Yeah.
So, and my background is hip hop, definitely hip hop, but we'll talk about that. And I walk in there, he asked me, could I do that? So I wrote the joint, Let There Be House, with Heinz Felber out of Cookies, another well-known DJ in Germany, and I got to give him his props. The title, Let There Be House, is a Chicago title, but when I was in the studio, we produced the track, we arranged it, everything, and he was like, I didn't have no hook. And he was like, he just leaned over, he said, say, let there be house.
Okay, all right.
And, yeah, I got to give him his props. And I did that, let there be house. So we had a good thing going. And then from there, we connected with West Bam. He remixed it. Then Dave Durrell, CJ McIntosh, and the rest was history. I was traveling to London and things like that. But back to, as you said, in Frankfurt. Yeah, we was doing it in Frankfurt.
Yeah, man. And back in the day, and you know, when I came here, I came to Frankfurt from Jersey. I was in trouble already. So I was lucky enough to get out of the trouble that I was in.
Right.
I wasn't really actually supposed to be coming. I wasn't supposed to be over here because I got into so much trouble back in Jersey. It was like unbelievable. My mother got me out of trouble, got me over here to Germany. And one of the first person I seen that really, I seen two people. I seen my man Ron. My partner Ron. Yeah, I checked him out. Yeah, he reminded me of New York. And then the next person I seen, I was like, clear definition was you. I was like, yo, who this cat, man? Then I'm okay. I'm okay when I seen you, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be all right over here. Because before that, I was like, I don't know about this. I had to go home, deal with whatever I got in trouble for.
Right.
I was like, nah, I didn't want to come to Germany, man. But I had to come to Germany because I was gonna get locked up.
Right. I remember meeting you, what was interesting too, and you always, like you are now, inquisitive. And you came up to me and you just started asking me questions like you knew me. Yo, blah, 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 blah. I was like, who this little cat? Okay, had the medallion on, the cut up jeans, and like, who this little cat? Then you told me who you was. I'm from Jersey. I just came here. And the connection was always there.
Yeah, man.
And I told you I got to put it out there. What a lot of people don't know, this kid right here, he was always house. He was always, how would you say? He's been in the trenches for a minute. He was always house, always club. And you always
man. I just came from, like I said, man, I just came from Jersey, man, when I came here and met you. And I was already going out. I was sneaking out the house already. My mother didn't know, but I was sneaking out the house, going to whatever local club I can go to. And I had got to experience a house anyway. So when I got here, it was like too easy, man. And, I was loving hip hop at the time too, but I had just this equal amount of love for house. And yeah, man. So it's what it is.
The history, check this out. Frankfurt was an interesting place because we had the military presence there.
Yeah.
And what was funny is the military presence there was different because the environment shaped the, how would you say, the attitude and the culture of the people and the infusing of the German and Americans.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting how you've seen a lot of people from Chicago and Frankfurt. You've seen Jersey. You've seen New York. It seemed like it was a place, Frankfurt was a place where brothers from New York, Jersey, just the upper East Coast, just got in there and everything, they were inviting. They invited us, and at the same time, it just, it felt like home. Frankfurt always felt like home, yeah.
Yeah, because of the U-Bahns and stuff like that, the way the city was, gave you a little piece of it. And we was running through here going crazy anyway, man. We was young.
Right,
like a city for me. Even me coming from Jersey, even though I'm from a city in Jersey too, this was like, all right, an addition on. But, other than the language, it was definitely dope, man. And, the only thing I wondered about, man, is that unfortunately, like the music hit real well over here on the house tip. I mean, it really blew up over here.
Yes.
The dance didn't come with it. That was the thing that was missing with the thing. The dance, everybody was too busy on hip hop, I think, on Hip
But
Hop Day.
what was interesting, and if I cut you off, just let me know. What was interesting is the first breakdance group, that was Rico Sparks, and we called him Eddie Action. He was from New York, breakdancer.
Right.
Came in there, New Crazy Legs, all of them cats. So what was interesting before house, Frankfurt was definitely hip hop, but '84 was it was interesting because if you think about it, the transition of music, like from R&B, then you had hip hop, then you had house. But what was crazy is you would hear all of these genres played in a night.
Yeah.
It was played in the night. And then brothers with a hip hop dance, brothers with house dance and R&B. Because R&B had their own snake, WAP, things like that. And then hip hop had its own style of dance. And then house had its own style. So the transition in the music, the time, '84, you watch it go from hip hop to house. It was interesting. Frankfurt was definitely interesting.
Yeah. Who was those girls who was dancing in was it Snap's video or whose video?
Tina, the Harris sisters.
The Harris sisters. Yo, them girls was the first house dancers. Like for me, that was the first female I seen over here in Germany that was into culture in the house. They're actually doing gigs for the dancing part. They were actually dancers. So we was always looking up to them, like, yo, them, you know, even when we did your video, we was like, yo, we was hoping in our mind that we impressed them two girls, ladies right there for the dancers. You know what I mean? We was hoping, man, if they say we did good, we was golden.
See, what was crazy is I had left y'all during that time. So what was interesting, it was like y'all were the new group of young men coming in. Because I transitioned out of the housing area. I sound like I'm leaving the military. I transitioned out of that housing area in '88. When did you get there?
I got in '89, man. I came in '89.
See, so I was already living on the economy.
Right, around the same time you probably was transitioning is when I came in, because when I seen you first time I seen you, I was like, okay, this kid look like he from New York, so and he's already, you know, I think you had already transitioned already, was around that time frame. So
when I transitioned off, it was crazy, and in that year it was pivotal. We're gonna go into the just into like the making the hip house, how it was accepted in Germany. What was funny, I made hip house out of Germany, but I got more acceptance in the States.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting.
Yeah, I had when you had did that, when I went to the States to go visit, I heard your record on the radio, bro.
Right.
So I heard it on New York radio. I was like, oh snap, that's my man right there. Right. So I was like, yo, it was crazy because I heard it in the States, man. So,
but what was crazy is you didn't hear it on German radio.
No, didn't hear it on German radio.
That's what's really interesting. Okay, at the time when I made the record, you had Snap, I Got the Power, my man Devon Butler, peace to him, and then you had who was that? Torsten Finslow had a group. He was a hot DJ. Then you had Captain Hollywood. You had all of them. At the time when I came in, and this was real, they said that we have enough Black artists in the pool. Now we have to look out for our own artists. So they didn't accept my record. You had labels like,
wow.
Yeah. Literally, that's what came across the table is we have.
I know they could push a record. I know they were able to push records and make it worldwide and accessible, especially if you charted in the States. I know you could. It's easy. It's not too easy to. I mean, that's too easy to come over here and chart if you charted in the States. Right. You know what I mean? #1 on Billboard. You know, so I don't understand that either.
Yeah, they didn't let it in. But one thing I thought about is that it was interesting too. They didn't create me, like they didn't invent me. Like they didn't come up with my name. What was interesting, I was a solo artist and I was basically sole control of myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I think that's what it was too. Because a lot of times, like they do now, they like to give you names. This is the name of your group. since they named your group, they get a percentage and things of that nature.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
work and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they didn't create Deskee. Deskee was already created. He was a rapper. He was a DJ. He's basically his own man. He started on an independent label. That's why I got to give thanks to Akim Shapansky as well, because coming through an independent label and then doing business with majors, I not only learned a lot, I was also allowed to keep my identity in myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most important thing.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was
so you
allowed to
kind of had
keep
the
it.
business thing down in order already, man.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
Yo, what what um what made you do hip house? Okay, we knew the guy when you walked into the record store, but you know the jump over into because you could have did hip hop. You know what I mean? This is
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by that.
Yeah,
You
I
could
could
did
go
hip
that
hop.
way too.
You
I
didn't
can
have to
go
do
that
hip
way
house.
too.
You could have did a hip hop. You had options.
Okay. Now we
Well,
gonna
maybe you
go.
really push over to do that, not just
Now check
somebody
this
saying
out.
yeah. Go ahead.
We gonna hit a little history. I'm from Bayside, New York. I'm from the suburbs. I'm a suburban kid. So I think a lot of time the suburban kids, they get more into the music than the urban kids. So basically, let me see, uh, 77,
Hmm.
um, two turntables, microphones, started DJing, had little hip hop crews in New York and things like that. Then my cousin was a garage head. He was a loft garage head. So I
Hmm.
was basically getting the best of both worlds. I First record I had 10% or something. That was the first
10% or
maxi.
something.
Yeah, first maxi single that was given to me. Even though I was a hip hop DJ, my cousin was sliding me club records.
Yeah.
So Dr. Love, 10% or something, Action 78, Plug Me to Death, like real disco. So I understood real disco as well as hip hop.
Hmm.
So the things that I learned, it was like when I was coming up, I got the best of both worlds. And remember, hip hop also had its disco elements in it, super disco breaks, things like that. So when I came up, I was getting the best of both worlds. I
Yeah.
had jazz. I remember when Love Is the Message came out, that was the Four on the Floor, real club. The Love I Lost is the original one. But I grew up listening to all of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So growing up listening to all of this and then rapping, everything went hand in hand because I understood disco and then I understood hip hop.
Right.
So I always had the two elements in me. So for me to do hip house, and to be honest, I liked hip hop, but I always loved disco and more upbeat, more
Yeah.
than yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
There it is.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I always loved, so it was easy. It was easy.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So we had talked before because me and you talked on the side.
Right,
You know, when I got some issues too, you was helping me out with some of
right,
the
right, right, right,
things I
right,
was
right.
dealing with. And what you had told me, man, you had said one thing one time how the music was kind of like started house music. You had broke down some history on house music. I wanted you to elaborate more about what you know about house music itself.
Okay.
And I'm just
What
talking
I
about house music because we know it can get broken. I'm only
okay,
breaking it down. I'm compartmentalizing it only for this
right.
purpose of
You
conversation.
want Chicago? You want Chicago?
We can start it with the roots of it. Let's go Chicago.
Okay,
Let's
here
start
we
with the
go.
roots.
Here we go. Earl Young, give him his roses while he's alive. Out of Philadelphia, Four on the Floor. He's on Facebook and everything. Check him out.
I will.
Tramps, the first joint, The Love I Lost, Teddy Pendergrass and Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, The Love I Lost, he did the Four on the Floor. So he basically created the Four on the Floor. In our house, I can remember going through phases like they going through now. My uncle wearing the dashiki with the hunter's hat, listening to African music and things like that. Funky Somakuso, things like that. Just the history from my perspective, and I'm trying to gather my thoughts right now. The history from my perspective, the Four on the Floor started in Philadelphia. Then New York accepted it. I think New York gravitated toward Jersey. I would say Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey's very, very, yeah.
Yo, I gotta back up because it came up from Philly. I can't skip Jersey, and I gotta give props to Jersey. When I heard "Can't Win for Losing," 10 City, I was
Yeah.
dating a young lady from Jersey, and when I heard "Can't Win for Losing" and the vibe that I felt in Jersey, to me, I think it was a little bit stronger than New York. I gotta give Jersey, I gotta give Jersey their props.
Well, you know, I'm not gonna.
I do.
My wife is laughing at. Well, you know, I love New York. I love New York, but you know, Jersey has this very special connection with house. And this is, I say this all the time, man. I'm not just saying this to, you know, to be like Jersey's number one or nothing like that. I'm only saying it because my father's from Chicago, my mother's from Jersey. So I was over in Chicago when house kind of first came out. Also the dance where we jacking and stuff like that.
Right.
And transitioned all the way over to New Jersey, and I see how New Jersey uh, latched onto it and made it and helped make it theirs. It was like two lungs. It's like you got a left lung and a right lung. So you got Chicago and then you got New Jersey with the house music. And I was like, yo, we fell in love with it too because you know we can catch our mothers, you know what I mean? Our you know, not grandmothers, but definitely our mothers, you know, into house easy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's easy for them because it's more like church. And I guess it's a lot to do with the church relationship that they have.
Yeah, definitely got them elements.
That they really gravitate towards the Chicago, and maybe because the choirs, the exchanging of the choirs, because you know a lot of that music, that choir music, a lot of the that singing, that gospel singing is house.
Right.
The house music so deep, man. So I think that exchanging of the choirs, New Jersey choirs and the Chicago choirs, and then the house going right over into Jersey was easy. It was easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Into it. So many people were deep into it, and a lot of singers came out of Jersey. So
definitely. But check it out. And I'm only talking house music from a perspective of, okay, Four on the Floor, Philadelphia, New Jersey. You heard records in the house like Mainline, Nothing's Been the Same ever, stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. You heard it in New York, you heard it everything. Now I'm gonna take it over to this is what we played in the house. Now I'm gonna take it over to Chicago. And I got checked online. I'm a member of Dubai Dance Music, and it's a brother named Mario over there. I hope I got your name right, brother. Dubai Dance Music. And he and I, we were going back and forth about who started Chicago House. So
some say New York. Some say New York started.
Check it out. But we talking about house. You want like we want house. Okay.
House, yeah.
He and I, we were going back and forth about who started house. So I hit my little history, Four on the Floor, woo, woo, woo. It was all good. So he and I going back and forth. And he brought up, and I hope I'm saying the brother's name right. Not Kevin Saunders. He's from Jesse Saunders. Jesse Saunderson. I hope I'm getting your name right, brother. He talked about how Jesse Saunderson played or made the first house track. Okay. And I'm like, nah, blah, 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 you know, not understanding. So guess who chimes in? I said, well, who you got that's gonna back you up? Man, Marshall Jefferson chimed in.
Oh, Lord.
I said, peace to the God. Look, I had to bow down. He said, me. And then he just started, I had to say peace to the God. And I just, you know, I just listened. And he talked about how Jesse Saunders made the first house track.
Wow.
And then I got with Tyree, and Tyree verified it and said the one that everybody was playing wasn't the hot, it was the other side, and it basically had like letters and numbers. and Tyree verified it. So Jesse just gave me the history. I mean, Marshall Jefferson, peace to him, gave me the history on what was the first record, how they invented it, and things like that. And what is it? I'm trying to get his name right. Kevin Saunderson and Frankie Knuckles were playing in the warehouse.
Right.
So, you know, Frankie is basically the Godfather. So that's where, and if I'm wrong, it's on me. If I'm right, let it speak for the record. That's where the connection of house originally started. And then you had your Marshall Jeffersons and Chip E's and people like that, DJ International and stuff like that. And it just took off. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man. That's deep. That's it. And this is good. Pardon me. This is good history, man. Definitely good history, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Something else I had on the agenda.
Yeah.
I had so much else on, man.
I know it get like that. It gets
that was some major stuff right there, man. That you hit on. You know what I mean? I think that was the one main one that I wanted to bring out that we had a conversation about was
right. And that's Chicago house. But you got to remember, our house music is club music. So we had our thing going as well. I can't count New York and us out. We had our thing going. We had the club thing going.
Yeah, the club scene is big. I mean, well, that's part of the reason why Frankie Knuckles is there. This the club scene in New York City. So we feel that and like I said, I hate to compartmentalize it, but sometimes you compartmentalize it so people can just go dive deeper after that. Because you just drop names already, people can go ahead and do research on.
Right.
Marshall Jefferson maybe dropped the first song, or maybe it's not. And this is very interesting for the music lovers out there.
Right.
It's still a music business. You know, we dance into the music, so DJs got to play the music, or we don't make no new dances, and that's how it goes. You know, or keep the old dances alive.
Yeah.
How do you feel though the music? Okay, there was an article that came out with I forgot his name, but he was saying something about he doesn't DJ anymore. Let me see if I can.
That was Marshall Jefferson.
That was Marshall Jefferson. He's not passed away or nothing like that, right? He's still alive. Marshall Jefferson.
Yeah, he's still alive and kicking. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was that. He had that conversation about how the DJs have switched up now. How the culture is no longer the same. I read the article and I kind of knew it already in the '90s. When I came over here, I knew it was disappearing. I seen it leaving. You know, like I said, that's one advantage.
It left. If you want to get real, and I'm yelling, let me calm down. If you want to get real, it left with groups. Because when we came up, and you think about house and everything, you had your Hot Five, you had your groups, just like singing groups from R&B. And then once technology came in, everything started dissipating, if you really check it out. Right. Everything was affected by technology. Yeah, the convenience was there, everything was good, you was a one-man band, but it took away from everything. And house, they had their DJ crews. Hip hop, they had their DJ crews, just like you had a band.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just disappeared with everything. Yeah, and things are gonna change. Technology, I can't knock it. Technology is good. But at the same time, technology takes away the spirit of things because, we gotta just that touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, just watching your man do his thing on the wheels and you come behind him and you got that drive, just the vibe it brought in the building or it brought in a room.
Right.
Things like that. Yeah.
It steps the game up. As everybody's game levels, you level up. Then people enjoy and they enjoy the best night they have with DJs are leveled up. Now it's moved everything over to technology, which is a little bit of, unfortunately. And, we got battles, man, where a lot of DJs come for the battle. So there are a lot of out of work DJs right now that were like really counting on the battles that they have for for the house dance battles, the popping battles, locking battles they got over here in Europe. So the DJs are hit hard over here too, man. So they do it, man. Even those little bitty gigs is just.
But what's crazy too here, and I gotta say, since the pandemic and everybody's online, it's like, the DJs that were doing it online consistently, they got to basically, you know, the big brothers are online.
Yeah.
So, you know, the respect that you have for the big brothers, you gotta, you know, move back, or you gotta, you know, allow them their space to do their thing. One
Right.
thing I do, one thing DJing has taught me and stuff like that, and I gotta give respect, is how to deal with people in general, like rank and file and things like that. How to PR and rep, talk with people and interact with people. The same vibe I do with music and DJing is the same vibe I carry over at my job and things like that. So
Yeah.
DJing and the music, yeah. But I gotta say, with this technology, I think because the big brothers are online, like the younger or the little brothers, they have to wait. Like it created a, like a, how would you say, just a halt,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I can't wait until it's over so the big brothers can get off on. I say that respectfully though. I got love for them. You
Yeah.
know, fuck with
Yeah.
them.
But you know, yeah, you're right about that, man. Because you know, it does have an opportunity for a lot of people that would normally probably wasn't online so much. They're online now, and they
Yeah,
like. But you know, for the dance community, and I think for generally, I can't wait till it's over either. But at the same time, it brought a lot of information
it
out.
did, it did, it
Probably
did.
would have been like kept like locked in that we all are watching the same story take place. And if you tune in to house and house music is something your hobby that you love to do or you got a love for it, and you get
Right,
the maximum amount of information you can get right about now during these
right.
times. So
No,
that's the other good thing about it. So
yeah. With the, how would you say, when you respect the game, it's easy. You know, I respect
yeah,
the game, so I
yeah,
ain't got no problem with the game. You know, I
yeah,
understand the big brothers. When the big homies come around, you got to give up the ball.
yeah,
you
yeah. I
know
feel the
what I'm
same way.
saying? They gonna play with,
Yeah.
yeah. You gotta,
I'm the
yeah,
same way. I feel that
yeah.
I feel that I respect my elders. I guess well, other than this last one, a lot of people don't think I respected my elder, but you know, it's we got
Right,
circumstances.
right, right,
Circumstances. I
right.
come for heads too sometimes, man. So I have fun, but if you talk crazy, I'd be like, yo, I go crazy right with you. So
But check it. Check this out. And you had asked me about, you had said you were speaking with somebody and they were under the assumption that House came to Europe at a later date, or
well, it wasn't so much a house came to Europe at a later date. It was just we kind of almost dipped our foot into the racism pool, which everybody hates. Like the black people hate to talk about it, white people hate to talk about it, foreigners hate to talk about it. So we was dipping our toe into the race issue about the house, where it came from. Was it a black and brown creation? Stuff like that, man. Which you know, it was history wise, man, we already pretty much got a lot of the documentary for that, so we know what it
yeah,
is. YouTube
I
got it
know.
pretty thorough with the videos, and it was just a matter of that was one of the subjects that had came up. Where the house come from? My house, you know, the club dance. But we was talking
Oh,
about that so much, man.
yeah, you know, it's no question. House is African. House is American. House is dance. So we created it.
Yeah.
We created it. It's Kalas. Finish. we we created the Four on the Floor came from Philly. From the Four on the Floor, it went electronic into Germany. Then it came back, and you know
Yeah.
we're at the root of it. Wherever you got a drum beat, we're there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Period. Yeah.
And that was the whole thing. I mean, we know that, but then, you know, like I said, some people are afraid to talk about it. Some people are afraid to say anything about it. Like we got a lot of people on the black side don't want to say anything because they're doing gigs and stuff like that, and they don't want to make it about race because then maybe they'll lose a gig or something like that. Which is no beef to them, no you know no disrespect to them because I understand 100%. And then there's the cast is like, yo, look, let it be known what it is, you know. And I'm in the middle, man. I'm like, okay, I agree with the complete voice of our people. So I'm not like on some old, you know what I mean, you know, I think everybody should be able to enjoy it, but I always also think that you got to give homage to the
To the
founders.
creators, yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
have
have to
to.
give homage to the creators. And everyone says, well, how do you do that? What does that look like? I say, well, of course, for one, you need to research and find out who they are. And then if you got something that can help benefit them in any kind of way, make that happen for them, especially if you got platforms,
Right,
stuff like
right,
that, that you can bring the awareness to, keep them rotating on your platform. That was
right,
my whole thing, you know.
right,
And that was a lot of my problems issues I had with the dance half of it, because we were looking at it like this. The same thing Marshall Jefferson was looking at it like, yo, it's been whitewashed. We were looking at it, the possibility of the house dance being uh, whitewashed too, because it's even smaller than the freaking house music. Because when people
right,
ask me what am I doing, when they see it, they see freestyle. They don't see house dance. They don't even know you can
right.
dance the house like that. So
Mm,
they didn't even know that you could do that. They don't even have a clue. So we got an even smaller segment because house is pretty much David Guetta. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
So
right,
in the dancing aspect of it, like I said, it didn't come over here to Europe like that. It came over late after the fact, you know. And
right.
now that it's here, it's like we're worried about it. It might disappear too. That it might get whitewashed as well. So I'm trying to protect it, and I know a lot of other people trying to protect it too. And at the end of the day, while we're protecting it, we look like a bunch of racists, black racists, which is an impossibility. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
impossible for us to be racist. You know, we
yeah,
yeah.
right,
So
right.
you
We
know what
can
I mean?
have our differences, but check this out. I'm gonna be. We just have to just a certain way or
Hold up, you going in and out right now?
about.
Hold on, you gotta go back again. Just slow it down a little
Okay,
bit. Let it catch
can
up.
you hear me?
Yeah, one second.
Yeah.
1 second. We got clouds here today. So go ahead, say what you're saying again. You gotta kind of go back a little. Go ahead and say what you said again.
What I was saying is, as far as they always get us with the feel. We just gotta tell our story, and I notice we tell our story sometimes with shame. We shouldn't tell our story either. Would it be house? Would it be dance? Would it be anything? America's interesting, and the American is interesting. But at the same time, we have to protect our interests. Hip hop, jazz, R&B, house, dance, that's all our music. That's all our music, case in point. And we have to talk about it without feeling shame, or when they say y'all this, y'all that, sometimes you have to take the stance like you're a guest in the house.
Yeah.
And when we telling our story, one, we're telling in our house from our area, so you can't dictate the tone, one. Two,
Yeah.
sit down and listen and learn. Just sit down and listen and learn. This is our folk tale. We got our own Superman. We have our own Superwoman, and we got to tell that story and not feel ashamed about it.
Yeah,
It's our,
man.
yeah,
That's why I'm going hard in the paint. I'm being
right,
nice, man. Everybody keep telling me I'm the nice guy. I'm being very nice, T-Ski. I'm the nice one.
right, right,
Everybody
right.
behind me like, yo, chop his head off, chop their head off. Don't look him no prisoners. And I'm like, be
Yeah,
easy.
yeah,
Let's
but
not kill them
sometimes you just
all.
got to tell it.
Yeah, let's
Right,
not
right,
kill them
right.
all.
No, sometimes a lot of times you got to tell it.
Yeah,
You got to tell it. Yeah, and it's interesting how our youth just influenced the world. How people are making money, making millions off of hip hop, house, things of that nature. But I say
woo.
that, yeah, they making millions off of
And
it.
then our pioneers are like broke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Pissed
yeah.
off, broke, no money, struggling.
Mhm.
Nobody should be struggling. If you created a house, you helped, you was there on that foundation, you should not be struggling. You know what I'm saying?
But
You should
but but
not be struggling.
but I gotta say it like this, and we're gonna have this conversation. I
Yeah,
remember we're gonna have it off. I remember I went to New York and Grateful Dead was playing in Madison Square Garden. Mind you, this was 89, 90.
yeah,
People were sleeping outside of Madison Square Garden. There was a big gorilla, and they were there to see the Grateful Dead. When the last time the Grateful Dead put out an album, bro?
yeah, yeah,
And they still able to do this. Earth, Wind, and Fire, they playing on boat rides.
yeah. Huh?
I'm gonna say like this, and I gotta say it. We have to better support our DJs. We have to better support our artists. We have
Well,
to better.
and even I mean, and I think that's even wishful thinking, man. Because at the end of the day, how we are, even though we know we know what is right, we know what's right. However, for some particular reason, when we know what's right, we still somehow seem to mess it up, but still keep it intact somehow. Still keep it rolling, because it's not a complete knock on my folks or me or my folks. We're still rolling. I mean, even when people thought we might not be rolling, we still rolling. We still creating. We haven't stopped. It's just we got to figure out that one little last piece that we missing, you know, to put that one peg in to say, okay, now we can start having ownership of what we got here because we want ownership of it. We just don't know what
Right,
that looks like. And I think that's the problem. We don't know what it looks like. And I think that's
right.
probably the underlying thing. We don't know what ownership looks like. We got a little
Mhm.
piece of it, you know what I mean, for the Black American, but a lot of stuff we didn't know. We didn't know you could copyright voices, you can copyright literature. We really behind
Right,
on that aspect of it, on the literature
right,
part, to seal our fate,
right,
a lot of stuff. YouTube right now has our dance library, but you know what I mean. This is like
right,
any other. This is like they had our blues library in
right,
freaking Washington
right,
D.C. you know,
right.
YouTube has
Mhm.
our dance library, so actually they can turn around and dictate to us who is hot and who's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
The power of media,
yeah,
definitely.
they can also dictate. Yeah, they can dictate. It can tell you that now, and I've seen too many examples of it, and everybody chalks it up to say, well, that's business. That's business.
But it dictates the tone. It dictates the tone, though.
Yeah,
What's the name of a strong network? YouTube or Facebook, and their files, as you said, just
yeah. They
to
files. They got our history.
yeah,
They
yeah,
got even with our conversation right now that I'm having with the dance conversation. They have our conversation, right?
right,
They own
right,
they own our conversation. So
yeah, yeah.
and they
So
allow it to happen, which is the thing. Some
yeah,
people are doing stuff about it, but they
we have to.
watching.
We just have to. Yeah, but we just have to better learn technology. We
Right,
have to, how would you say, learn how to use our youth. That's another conversation. Our engineers and things of that nature. We just have to do better on that tip. But I think also that comes in with support because when you support the youth, they see you believe in them. Like when I came up in the music, my cousins supported me. My uncles used to come by and
yeah,
I'm in the basement DJing and they'll tell me, you need to tighten up on your mix. These are my uncles.
yeah, yeah,
My aunt would sit on the step and watch me spin. Like these are my family members would come down there and they took an interest in what I was doing. And we have to get back to that, taking interest in these youth as well.
yeah, yeah.
We
That's
have to
right.
get back to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
We look at my generation, your generation. I'm 50. I'm 50. I'm in my 50s. You dig? Look, I had to catch that. I'm in my 50s and you're under me. But the connection was there because of what was given to me by my community and things of that nature. It
yeah,
was easy for you to walk up on me and chop me up because that's how we were raised.
yeah. To come, yeah, to talk. I see. I
So the
identify me.
fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
identify me, and I think we have a we we as Black Americans, and it's not to take anything away from anybody else, man. But we as Black Americans, we have a culture that's really, really rooted that we all understand from East Coast to West Coast. You know, you heard? Yeah, we got a culture that we understand from East Coast to West Coast. You know what I mean? There's certain
Yeah,
things that we do that's like we all do it. It's not like
yeah,
we don't, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's just,
yeah.
and we before the internet, we all just did it. So we created a culture already that I'm already. That's why it wasn't hard for me to be like to talk about uh certain clubs because a lot of those records was our family records, man. So there it is. So and we played them at the cookouts, man. So
But the hip house, yeah, the hip house thing in Frankfurt, we had it there for a while. It was easy for me to do hip house because of my upbringing, basically from band to from band to jazz, from jazz to disco, from disco to electro, things of that nature. Then everything infused. Like I said, '84 was a pivotal year. Frankfurt was a special place, unique place, because it just allowed us, especially the brothers from New York, New Jersey, and things of that nature, Philly, it just gave us a home, and it just allowed us to continue that expression. Do I miss Germany? Miss it to death. I tell anybody, Germany was a place, it's a trade-off here. Here, you have ownership. Germany, you allow mental peace.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Germany, you're not bombarded with
yeah,
all of the isms and schisms. Not saying that they're there, just you being American, you have a certain class status
yeah,
in the culture. And it was
yeah.
just definitely,
Still do a little bit. We still do a little bit, not as much as when the Americans were here a lot,
right,
but definitely we
right.
still got a little bit of influence. Um, yeah, who are some other people that were here and that you could remember that they really affected the culture too? That you got some names of?
Let me drop some names. Terrence Trenton Darby. You
Okay.
remember him?
Yeah, I remember Terrence Trent. Where
Yeah,
was he
Dance
from?
for the Sister and Sign Your Name. He was from
Yeah.
New York. He used to hang out at the Funkadelic.
Word. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Terrence Trenton Darby used to be down there. Turbo B from Snap.
Herbal B.
Frank Farian, the producer Frank Farian used to be down there. And a lot of times they used to come to the Funkadelic and hear
The
records. Now,
legendary Funkadelic.
yeah, oh, no doubt. Cam, look. Karen, look, I got to give props to him. Am I saying Cam Sanker,
Yeah.
Turkey? He gave the brothers a place, and that place was so hot. Prince, Herbie Hancock, Parliament Funkadelic, all of them came to this club. And it
Yeah.
was a wine cellar. It was a wine cellar. He gave me Tuesday night. I had the house night.
Yeah.
He gave
Yeah.
me Tuesday night house night. So I gotta give props to Karam. He definitely the like you said, the legendary Funkadelic. What's his name? The JBs,
Mm-hmm.
Bird, and all of them used to come to the Funkadelic.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody. Run DMC. I remember I seen DMC sitting out there drinking a 40 or OE. I was like, how you get old gold over here, man? I'm like, Germany, look, they got the German beer. So just to say Frankfurt was a unique place, man. And
Yeah, big hub, man. Big hub. Still
yeah,
is, but now, they're a lot bigger now, man. Like the acts that come through is not the same no more. They're not like they don't get to be like mingle with the people like they used to, man. It used to really be, it used to be really something going on here in Frankfurt with the stars that come through. Used to be they were real touchable.
right.
Yeah, it was very close and touchable. You could see them at, like you said, at the Funkadelic or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, man.
yeah.
Hey, have you
Well,
heard of Storm? You heard of Storm from up
who?
there in Dortmund? He's a b-boy. Storm. No,
Nah.
never heard of
Uh-uh.
him. Oh, don't worry
Mm-mm.
about it. No
He's
worries.
nice. He's nice.
Yeah, he
He's
nice. He got a big reputation, man. Even back in the States. You know what I mean? So he's a little bit older. I don't know exactly what they was doing up in Dortmund. You know what I mean? At the military bases. I don't know how the military base was, just how they were up there, but he's from that area, man. He was a big b-boy.
I think Dortmund was more consulate. I think they had
Okay.
more
They had
consulate
more
work.
counselor. Okay, that's probably why he probably didn't even get a bigger name that he probably would have. You probably would have recognized him if he was
Right.
more close to
They
America.
were consulate kings.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yo, any shout outs you want to give right now? Because we'll do this again, but definitely, man, a lot of history dropped just now.
Just real talk. I hope I stayed on topic. I hope you got the information you want.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we chop it up again. But just shouts out to you, my brother.
Thank you.
Word for how would you say, just exercising your talent. You always had a a knack, or you always had a way of engaging people and things like that.
Thank you, man.
I just got to commend you and give props to you for just telling our story.
Yeah,
for
man.
real, for real.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna be our first talk, so we're gonna do this again. Yeah.
The last talk. Give props to just everybody still that got a foot in this game, that's trying to keep this game alive. And I want to give props to just everybody, man, the Black community, European community. You know, they always embraced us. So just want to give
definitely
to Europe, and just let's keep this link going.
Yeah, you know? No doubt. We got to keep it going. Oh, and I want to give you a shout out too, man, because for those out there who don't know, my first video was in Let There Be House.
Yeah, word.
My first video, low budget, but still dope. Still dope. You know?
You was in there.
Yeah. I was up in there like, yo, my first video, man. I was happy and excited about that, man. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity, giving us the opportunity, because you came back to the high school at the time.
Oh, come
us
on,
the
man.
opportunity to get some shine on.
Yeah.
And that's bad love, because you didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? You could have stayed at the Funkadelic, but you came right to the school and said, nah, let these kids get up in here. I want them in my video.
Dig this. I'm going to hit you like this. 1989, August 21st, landed in Ramon out of Fort Dix, New Jersey. And this is a true story there. We took a hop over there. It landed, and my brother looked at me, and I looked at him. I said, what's your name? He said, Fresh. And he said, what's your name? I said, Deskee. And we looked at each other and just looked out and said, boom, we're going to do this. And the military community, how would you say, they embraced us. They believed in what we believed in. And my community, my high school, my principal called me Deskee. He didn't call me by my name. So the community even saw talent. Like, they let us have parties in the lunchroom. Like, we used to have parties in the lunchroom.
Wow.
Yeah, we had dances up at the high school. And they used to let us DJ. The high school used to let us DJ. And I remember I tripped them out because I rocked SOS band and I was cutting up their sucker MCs in the back. And they was all like, wow. So the community always like moved with us and embraced us. That's why it was easy for me to come back to the school. The audio teacher, he did my edits for the video, things like that. Just Frankfurt plotting, just Frankfurt period, it was unique, man. It was unique. It was like,
yeah, slice of America right over here.
For real. I just, military, shouts out to the military, the people serving. We got to give them their props.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. They supported our visions and just allowed us. They didn't try to change us.
Yeah.
You know, that's what was interesting. They tried to shape us, but they allowed us to do our thing.
Yeah, be creative and
play
with the culture and enjoy the culture that we were into. So that was a good thing too.
They allowed us to be kids. If you really want to, we were over there. We were kids, exercising thought and everything, and rocking with the Germans, and they were receptive to what we were doing. Yo, we had it good. We got to be kids, bro. If you really think about it.
Yeah.
We got to be creative kids, running around the city, doing moms and pops. We were in a working middle class environment. The military all of that. That we were allowed really to be kids. We got to be kids.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So definitely great talking to you. We talk again.
yeah,
We talk again
yeah,
offline. You know how we do. So,
yeah. And
so man. And
yeah,
your
for
DJ,
sure.
your Instagram and your DJ, yo, let them know your DJ.
Oh, check this out. Yeah, every Sunday, and it's coming on at 2 o'clock today. That would be 8 o'clock German time.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a 6 hours different. I got a show that comes on and I play house. I try to play all of the new stuff coming out. So we do that from let me get it right. 6 your time. Wait a minute. 8 your time. So how many? Let's
Just
see.
say Eastern time. Just say your time. What Eastern time?
Okay, okay. My time. 2 to
One
4
more time.
time.
One more time.
Freezing up. It's freezing up. 2 p.m. I come on until 4 p.m. But we rock until 12 o'clock midnight here in the U.S. So you got, yeah.
Well, you got it on your flyer too, anyway. So what I'm gonna do when I chop these up right here, I'm gonna promote what you're doing anyway.
Okay. Just
So
yes.
yeah, it's going bad. So peace.
Yeah, it's going in and out. Look, peace to you, man, and thank you. Nothing but love for you and the family, man. Keep it tight.
Yep, I will, man. Peace.
All right, peace.